on? It is your man, Gerard Kenneth. Thank you for checking out my podcast. It's supposed to be different podcast. This is episode 49, Cater to You, featuring Crissy Cakes. You can find her on IG. I met her through Clubhouse. We're going to chop it up about her business, about her in general, but in reference to her business as well. We're going to ask some really interesting questions. Like I said, I found her on in Clubhouse. And when she mentioned her business, I was like, I got to reach out to her. And I had to ask her some questions. So I'm really excited about this one. It's really cool, and especially because it actually plays a part in relationships. So, we're going to go ahead and hop into it. So, Miss Crissy, how are you doing today? Good
I'm
morning. Well,
doing
actually, good afternoon.
good.
Good afternoon. Good
Yes, good
afternoon.
afternoon or happy Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you, Gerard, for having me on your podcast. I'm
Yes, ma'am.
supposed to be different. And yes, like I was so happy when you reached out to me on Clubhouse to,
Mhm.
be able to have this conversation and just, just kind of vibe and get to know each other, network and connect. So thank
Word.
you.
Yes,
Yep.
ma'am. Absolutely. All right. So, let's get into this real quick. Now, I had to look into your IG and like just look at them like, who the heck is this person? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, I mean, let's put this up front here. I think even in your bio on Clubhouse, you may have said this, but on your IG, you definitely said this, and I appreciate you for doing this. It's really important. Um, Besides you having a business, you're a married woman. Praise
Yes.
God. Right?
Yes, I'm
So, cause I
very
know
married.
I know these dudes be trying to pull up anyway. Look, go ahead and show the ring, girl. Show the
Yes.
ring.
Yes.
Show, yes, ma'am. Show the ring.
Yes.
So, and then, but not only that, but you're saved as well. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And I think for me, that's vitally important. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not gonna do that today. That's literally my bag in reference to speaking about things of the Bible and then speaking on relationships and how they actually correlate. That's my
Yes.
thing. I'm gonna try to avoid that in this discussion. All right?
Oh, you
No,
don't have to. Well, I
well,
mean, yeah.
if it happens, it happens. But
Right.
like,
Right.
when I get on that track, oh we. So,
You
but in
own
any case,
it.
I'm on it, right? So that's my thing. But so I think those things were really dope and really important because I think, in my opinion, one, let's put it like this: one, being saved, and then being married, you understand the concept of service, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say this: we understand it in the Bible that Jesus decided to wash the disciples' feet. And we know that Peter was like, hey, bro, what are you doing, my guy? And he was like, yo, you won't make it in the kingdom if you won't let me serve you. Yeah, sure, I'm the master, but even the master has to serve his people. And so,
Yeah.
in reference to marriage, I think that's the thing that we drop the ball on, saved or unsaved, is that we don't understand the concept of serving one
One another.
another. It's more so
Mm-hmm.
like serve me, and you just figure out what you're gonna do with whatever I give you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think, and this is why I reached out to you because I was like, man, your business is dope. Because what if it's somebody that just sucks at giving gifts or something like that, or setting something up for their significant other? You come in like, hey, my guy, or hey, sis, I got you.
I can
So
help you with that.
right,
Yep.
right.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we're gonna get into the business, so and then we'll backtrack and then talk about you a little bit. But let's get into your business, Miss Crissy. Like,
Okay.
what made you say, okay, I want to do this?
Mm-hmm. So this started probably around 2018.
Wow.
I was just a regular like party planner. So I did like
Mm,
birthday parties, just regular like parties and setups and things like that.
mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
then what got me to go towards the realm of romance and bringing people together was I had this couple that reached out to me and was like, hey, like, we don't want a party. We want like an intimate evening to celebrate I think there was like their 2-year marriage anniversary or something like
Wow,
that. And
wow, wow.
um, that resonated with me because they were such a young married couple.
Mm-hmm,
And I was like, wow, that is just phenomenal that young people, want to come together and celebrate their love and marriage.
mm-hmm.
So basically what my business does, we kind of transition from regular parties and events to just full blown romance after we
Wow.
set up that young couple's room. And
Mm-hmm,
so
mm-hmm.
just a little background, my business, Dream Party Events, and that's events with a Z. We we basically provide a product and a service. So the service aspect of it is you will hire my team to come and set up an intimate romantic evening, whether it's a proposal, an
Mm-hmm.
anniversary, if you just
Oh,
want a
wow.
date night you just want to switch up your date night and dating game, like you can definitely like reach out to us and we'll help you with your romantic evening. We come and do the
Right.
rose petals, we do the dinner for two, we do the balloons. If it's your anniversary, we'll have the happy anniversary balloons. If it's a
Okay.
proposal, we just get all into it and
Okay.
make it
Good
a
stuff.
really nice night. As far as the product of my business, we had to expand. And basically, with COVID earlier in 2020, we had to expand our horizon as far as business to reach, people nationwide. So that's when we
Mm-hmm.
got into the romance boxes because not everyone is in the DMV area where I'm located to
Right.
be able to service them. So we do the romance boxes, which is pretty
Mm-hmm.
much a beautiful kit with everything you need to set up your romantic intimate evening. So again, it'll have the rose petals, the champagne glasses, all the candles you need, and just a variation of just like if you are into like the handcuffs or like some dice, some adult dice and things like that.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. You said we're gonna keep this joint spicy. Go ahead,
Yeah,
sis.
we don't get too spicy. That's the spices we get. We don't go into like the adult toys because I've had people reach
Okay.
out. We don't do adult toys, but we
Oh.
do like, intimate like dices, some handcuffs,
Okay. Okay.
some
To kind of
body
like
massage oil.
to kind of like and not doing oh yeah, because me and my wife we're not into that like dominatrix stuff. That's some weird. I'm like, nah, we cool on that. God made us a certain way. Praise God, Amen. We're gonna leave it
Yes.
there. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I
Because
wouldn't
some
say it's
people,
dominatrix. It's just just switching up, spicing. We call it spicing up your love life. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it doesn't get too like dark or deep after beyond the handcuffs. But yeah, we
Okay,
definitely do.
good, good. Because I mean, I'm just wondering, like, when people reached out to you, they was like, "Yo, can you get us together?" You know what I'm saying? And you
Yes.
was like, "Nah, we're gonna just prep y'all. Y'all figure out what
Yeah.
y'all doing.
Yeah.
Y'all
Yeah.
figure out what you guys do after that."
We do not get into nothing too deep, and that's not the purpose of my business. The purpose of dream party events romance planning is just bringing two people together
Mm-hmm,
to be
mm-hmm.
able to celebrate their love or their date, and just keeping things fresh within their relationship. We're very much just want to celebrate your love and your relationship, and so that's the business we're in.
Okay.
And again, it just depends on whatever your desire is as far as celebrating your significant other. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, some people's desire is I want to take a romance box on a vacation, and
Right.
show my wife like I love her, and I'm still here and very present and still in love with her. So
Right. Right.
yeah, things like that.
That's good. That's good. So let's because I guess my question, I was like, yeah, because you already said it, like you're in the DMV. I'm like, so how does this work for people in like different states? Is it like eventually you plan on like, do you actually plan on like having a team and
Mhm.
sending them out to different states to do stuff, or even a different
Actually,
country? Like
yeah.
once we open back up, like completely open back up.
Yeah, once we open completely back up, we've had a few couples where we set up their romantic evening in Atlanta and New York. So
Mm,
we've had a few
okay.
travel planning, but this, like I said, this was prior to the pandemic.
Mm,
But we were starting to branch out and travel and go set up romantic evenings and things like that.
good.
So once the pandemic, post pandemic, and everything is like back to AKA normal, I would guess you could call it. We will like continue to like travel and take on clients that are outside of our DMV area. But that's why we have the romance box in the meantime, because
Mm-hmm.
how you're in you're near San Antonio, Texas. If you wanted
Yeah.
to set up something romantic, you could order this box and it'll have everything you need. You wouldn't have to like look for rose petals or look for candles. Like it'll literally have everything you need to
Right.
celebrate at home or at a hotel or if you got a
Mm-hmm.
vacation. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And so essentially we of course we have to like set it up in advance for that particular day. We can't just wait to the last minute and hit
No,
Crissy up
no,
and be like, "Hey, sis, get me together."
absolutely not. You have to, I mean, the thing with having things like this and celebrating your significant other, you do have to plan. It's almost like dating, where you
Mhm.
plan a date, you have to plan your romantic evening. So,
Right.
our turnaround time is like, we always say, is like at least 3 days
Mhm.
before you plan to set up your romantic night. So if it's
Okay. Okay.
Saturday, you might want to order your box Wednesday so you can get it in time. And we definitely accommodate rush orders, and we'll escalate the shipping and do
Okay.
expedited shipping and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, because
yeah.
COVID is something else. It'll try to like my wife and I. We recently got married. This is actually my second marriage. I'm 36. Okay, I
Okay.
got married at 19, so this is like
Oh, you got
2004.
married really young.
That's a whole different
Really?
story. You check out my
Yes.
podcast, I talk about that story a few times. But
Right.
and then I got divorced at 25, and then it was just I was just dating different people, and then so with what I'm trying to get to is with my wife and I, we basically married during COVID, right? So we had something really small. My brother-in-law's wife, I guess she could be like my sister-in-law. I don't know how that works,
Yeah.
but my brother-in-law's wife, she set up our stuff for us, and it's just really, really simple. So I was just like, man, okay, cool. So it's like we can still make something work, and that's why
Yes.
you're here for to encourage people like, hey, just because COVID ain't letting you be great like you want to be
I
great,
know. Yes.
you can still be great to an extent, right? You can
Yeah.
still show up and show Boo thing how you really care for her or care for him and stuff
How
like
you
that. So
appreciate, yeah.
exactly. So
Absolutely.
let's just be honest here in reference to your business. Um, we deal with people. Some
Hmm.
people think that every business is like Burger King. you know,
Just quick, fast, and easy and
yeah.
ready.
And the thing is, they have it your way. So how do you, from the business aspect, how do you deal with those type of people? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, just, yeah. How do you deal with those people? Are you still like you try to keep it like level headed? Do you
Mhm.
try to like explain different things to them? Like, how do you deal with that?
So normally we try to accommodate majority of our customers.
Hmm.
It's not essentially just it's a your way thing.
Okay.
We have a standard template of the services we provide, and within those
Mm-hmm.
templates you can do add-ons, or you can take things out if it doesn't necessarily apply to this the romantic evening that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
like right now we have two service, getting back to the service side of my business. So like I said, if you hire me and my team to come and actually set up your romantic evening at your hotel or on a vacation or something like that, if you
Mm-hmm.
hire us, then we have two packages. One package is what we call the romance package only, which is literally just completely romance. It'll be the candles, the balloons, the rose petals. We might have, if for example, if it was your wife's birthday, we'll have her name in the balloons and stuff like
Yeah.
that, or happy birthday.
Mm-hmm.
um that's our just like simple romance package. And then we also provide like a bottle of wine or champagne if you're into
Yeah.
drinking and having a glass of wine or two. And
Amen.
then we
Amen.
and then we have what we call a deluxe package, which is like the full work. So it's
Okay.
all the decorum, everything I just listed,
Mm-hmm.
but it'll include a romantic dinner or brunch for two. And so
Okay.
we'll come in. Everything is freshly made, with all the safety and precautions that we use to prepare your food. And we'll come in and set up a romantic dinner for two, because what we've noticed is a lot of people just want that intimate setting. They might not necessarily want to go to a restaurant, or they just literally want to be in their hotel suite and enjoy each
Mm-hmm.
other's company. So we get a lot of people that go for our deluxe romance package, and that includes like literally the entire works. As far as customers having it their way, they might reach out and say, hey, dream party events, I want the romance, decor package, and not necessarily a dinner, but could you do a dessert? You know what I'm saying? My
Okay.
husband, he really likes chocolate covered strawberries. Are you able to provide that? And we
Mm-hmm.
absolutely can, or
Okay.
if it's a dinner, I've had vegans reach out to us and they're like, we want to do the dinner, but we're vegan. Do you have vegan or vegetarian options? And we certainly do. We've had to
Wow.
like, customize and tailor it to each client because each client is different.
Mm-hmm.
We've had, and this is an instance where we couldn't accommodate. We had clients that reached out and wanted a romantic evening, but what they requested was like against, kind of our, it was outside of our scope of work. And so it was like, could you provide like a whip and like certain like sexual,
Woo, okay.
things like that.
Well.
And, and so we couldn't provide it. Like we're not in like the sex. We don't consider ourselves like a
Mm,
sex business. We're like an
got it.
intimate,
Yeah.
we're in that business. So
Okay.
we couldn't account. We had to be like, no, but you're more than welcome to go out and, bring it, on your
Yeah.
special night, but we're
Yeah.
not going to get into the sex toys and
Like my
what.
brain, I'm sorry, my brain is like, so if you're celebrating your wedding or like an anniversary and you, you want to beat your spouse up,
I,
I'm
I
sorry, that's
don't
just
get.
me.
It might have been their chance to get some stuff off. That's what I'm thinking. Like,
Okay.
it
You
might
didn't
be
save somebody's
sufficient.
life. That's what you did,
Oh
sis.
no, I'm not
You
even.
saved somebody's life. Boy, they would have
Yes.
been on 4800. Shoot, talking about, yeah, babe, we gonna celebrate. We gonna do something you like, and then they,
Right.
woo, look at God using you.
No.
God
I
it.
feel like that's not the business. And I don't want to ever put that message out there. Like we're
Okay.
not, so yeah, but we couldn't accommodate them and and nonetheless they said it was their anniversary. So again, it didn't really correlate with anniversary. And but everybody has
Mm,
their,
that thing.
things that they're into. So
Right, right.
yeah, so
Whoo-wee. Boy, so I had this thought, and this is still in reference to your business. So I was like, well, you live in the DMV area. There's talented people across the country,
mhm,
but in certain areas, it's heavy. So I was
mhm.
just like, man, um, have you ever thought about, or has anybody ever requested to have somebody like serenade and then leave, and then they do the rest of that? Cause that's just an idea. I'm like, yo, that'd be dope. Cause so many, and we're networking on Clubhouse, and there's a
Yes.
lot of people in that area. And that was just a thought. I was like, yo, that would be dope, but I don't know how that would work. I'm assuming that they'll have to pay, of course, extra for the
Oh
singer or the
yeah, the
songstress or what.
service.
Right.
Hmm.
Okay. But that was
Yes.
just a thought. Well, let's backtrack. The reason why I said that is because a couple of years ago, when I was living in a different city in Texas, this sister, she's a real estate agent. She asked me to go sing for a wedding gift for somebody.
Hmm.
I was like, I ain't never did that before. So I was like, bet I'm finna take the money. So I was like, all right, cool, give me X amount of dollars, and she took them to she gifted them at this massage place. So it was a wedding massage. I didn't wait. Did I sing to them when they were getting massage? I did. I was singing to
Okay,
them.
so
It
you
was really
serenaded them doing that
yeah.
massage.
So
Okay.
so it was awkward. Now that I think about it, because my man was just like, "Yo, you sing it to my wife, bro." I'm like, "No, I'm singing to
To
y'all."
y'all as a couple, yes.
Yo, and I'm thinking like how it's supposed to be in the movies, like the dude is singing, and you know what I'm saying, like the dude is just looking into his wife's eyes, like, yes, this is how I feel about you. No, my
Yes,
man was my man was looking at me like, don't look at my wife. I'm like, bro, it was really weird, but it was still dope. They still appreciate the gift, but
yes.
when I
Okay.
when I first came in, he was in his uniform. She was in her regular clothes. They didn't know what was going on. I sang to them then, and then I left because
Hmm.
I had to sing like three different songs. So they was like, oh, okay, songs that I kind of recognize, and she's Dominican, so I got a chance to use my Spanish. Yes, happy about that. So did a cover song that I liked, and he's cool with it. So he's like, all right, bet. And then I guess they thought that was it. So while they were getting a massage, what I'm saying, they're covered, right? Even in the middle of the massage. So that's a good thing. They're
Okay.
covered because that'd have been really awkward.
Right.
Really awkward. So they
Yeah.
don't expect me to come in and sing again, but they're so relaxed. They're just like, oh, this is dope. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So I sung another song for them then. And then when they came back out, you know what I'm saying, put their regular clothes on, I sang another song. And they were just like, wow, this is really dope. Thank you so
Mhm.
much. You know what I'm saying? So that's
That's
just a thought.
amazing.
Yeah, it
That's
was pretty cool.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that would be a great service, or a service, or even maybe even a package, like a
Yeah.
standard package to have would
Hmm.
be to have like a performer. So like I know
Right.
you're a singer, songwriter, I
Yes, ma'am.
believe. Like
Hmm.
so yeah, like I think that would be a great addition. Just because with the pandemic alone, like you're not able to really go see anybody perform, or
Exactly.
you can't hold any type of event right now to hire that type of service.
Right.
So in that intimate setting, like to serenade, like during a massage, or maybe over a candlelit dinner, or even doing a proposal, because I've set up intimate proposals, and like
Hmm.
you could potentially come in there and sing. I don't know. Why did I? What is the song? Let's get married, or something like that
Yeah.
in the
Okay. With the jagged
background.
edge. All right. All
Yeah.
right.
So I mean, I think that's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
We could definitely like go into more details about
Hmm.
like what that could look like, as far as like if that's part of my service, or if we
Yeah.
have like a package or something. That'll be great to be able to offer that to my clients.
Absolutely. Like I said, it was just an idea because I'm thinking about people that live in that area now. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So I'm like, that's convenient for them, especially with the
Yes.
plethora. I mean, it's the DMV, so it's
Yes.
like it's so many. It's not just it's really multicultural over in the DMV
It
area. And
is
then if you
absolutely.
include like New York or people from Pennsylvania, they can still come over that way. It's that's I'm like it's hmm, it's
It's
like a
like a
melt.
hub, like a melting pot
Yeah,
of just
exactly.
talented,
Exactly.
diverse, people.
Exactly. So you
Hmm.
got like different people, different cultures. They can sing something in that person's language or something like that. And I was like, that'd be that was
Yes,
like, hey, that's just I just wanted to throw that out there for you because I was like, that would be amazing
that
for
would
your
be dope.
service.
I even thought, like, even just having this conversation now, like, even maybe someone who's like a violinist or something like that. Like, if
I
they're
know a sister that's a violinist. I have her
okay,
on my IG. There's a
okay,
kid I know that lives here in Killeen. He probably won't travel, but if you
okay,
want them to do some type of like video type of thing where they
like a
do it live,
virtual,
a virtual
yes,
thing, and then they play for them or something like that.
okay,
So I know some people like that, but yeah,
okay.
man. I mean, plus on oh, I don't know how that's gonna work because it's something about people that got the blue check. They don't recognize the little people
Yeah.
send them messages.
Yes, they
It's the most
do.
annoying
You
thing
will be
in the
sitting in
world.
the in the DMs.
Looking
Yeah.
like Celie.
Yes, yes. I've learned like you got to email, like whatever they have in their booking, on the actual page. Emails kind of got me through in a few
Okay.
doors, but yeah, DMs you would just be sitting and will never be seen. So
Word. There's a sister that she's such a sweetheart. She's so nice. And so but she's a violinist. She's a hip hop violinist. I forgot her name.
okay,
I know she's not here from the States, but you could tell like she has a good spirit about her. You know what I'm
okay.
saying? That's what I liked about that's what I like about Clubhouse in general. You meet those people that be
Right, that you just be like, why are you talking and why are you
yo,
moderating this
just
room?
listen. Okay, so let's look, real quick because now we're just chopping it up. So that's the other thing with my podcast too. I'm not going to say anything like out the way and disrespectful to you or whatnot, but just in the conversation. There was a time, maybe it was like earlier this week. Um, Davion Ferris. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He's D Smoke's brother. You
I
know who D Smoke
know.
is? You don't know who D? Girl, have you ever watched Rhythm? I think it's called Rhythm and Flow. It's a Netflix show.
Okay, yes, I
So D
have.
Smoke is the cat that won the show. He's
Okay.
from
See, I didn't watch
Cali.
it till the end, so I
Sis,
didn't. I
sis,
only caught bits and pieces of it.
check this out. Even if you get on YouTube and just highlight D Smoke, the dude is a pianist, right? Or pianist, a pianist. He's a singer songwriter. He wrote for Jaheim.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. His mother used to sing background for Michael Jackson and some other Jacksons or somebody like that. But it was
Oh,
some
so he
famous
just has
people.
like a music lineage just
Yeah,
in
they
his
do.
background.
It's
Okay.
like them jokers got the cheat code, okay, Chrissy. So I feel some
Yeah.
type of way personally.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, here I am with the Super Nintendo, and y'all got a PlayStation 5 already. I'm like, bro, come on, man. No, but they're
Yes.
actually really dope. So, but what happened was, it was RL from Next. He was in there. It was some heavy hitters from
Okay.
singer songwriters and stuff like that. So we're in this room and they're just discussing things, and this old random dude acting like he got clout came at I think it was RL. And he
Oh
was,
Lord.
but what happened was he was asking people in general. He was like, "Hey, yo, I'm this person," and so he's talking about the people that he quote unquote knows personally. And so
Okay.
he's like, "Oh, I know, such and such person, and this, and the third, and Give me a sec. So he was like, yeah, I forgot the person's name. He was like, yeah, da 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 da. Do you know this person? Because I want to know if you're a real person. And I was like, nigga,
Oh,
come
the
on. So
disrespect.
he came at us sideways. So then RL was like, yeah, I know such and such. She's like, oh yeah, that's my uncle. He said, hold up. He said, is that really your uncle? Then you should know. And then RL said some personal name I don't remember. And he was like, you
Okay.
know who that is? And he was like, nah. He's like, all right, yeah. He said, I'm gonna ask my people and see. He's like, yo, because I know who you're talking about, and that's actually my blood. So the dude
Mm.
messed up. I remember that. He was like, that's my blood. So if you don't know this other person, then you out here
Yeah,
fronting.
you
You
can't be
pump
no, yeah, you
faking.
can't be knowing. Yeah.
You pump faking. And so
Yeah.
I was, man, they kicked him out so quick. I was like, get this dude out of here. Cause
Yeah. So
at first he came off like, hey, we just want some legit people to be moderated. He was like, oh, okay, that's smart. But then when he asked that question, he was like, okay, you overstepped your boundaries now.
absolutely, this
You know what I'm
isn't the
saying?
room that that you're managing. And you're not even a moderator. Like you just
Not.
gonna come and step it
Yeah.
to us that's we actually are in the
Yeah.
game that could actually help and pull you up and
Yeah.
you trying to challenge who we know. Like that's not
Yo.
cool at
It's
all.
like, bro, who are you? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like who? I'm sorry. When I'm looking off, I'm looking at my screen
Mhm.
to switch like scenes in there. So that's what's going
I'm
on.
over there multitasking. That's fine.
Okay. So it's like, who are you? But you then again, you meet some people that are really cool. And so with the sister that's the violinist, I don't think I followed her. Hopefully, I
Okay.
can come across her
Do you
again,
know her name? Maybe I could like jot it
sis.
down. Like
I
you
do
don't
not
remember,
even know. I
but you
just
follow
know
her, right?
I have to double check. All I know is
Okay.
that she's black. Um, her her accent. She sounds like she's like basically like kind of like Afro something something, but she may have been
Okay.
Caribbean or she may have been in a
Okay.
different European country, but she's
Okay.
black, right? But
Okay.
she came over here, so she's a black woman. No, you know what? I feel like she's either Eritrean or Ethiopian, actually.
Oh, okay.
Now that I
Okay.
think about it, so I got to go back and double check. I'll get on there and then
Yeah,
I'll
try
hit
to
you
send it
offline.
to yeah,
Yeah,
if you
but
yeah.
she is a legit sweetheart, and those people like that is like they're cool people, man. Like there's some
Yeah.
real cool people. They even if they
I
got a
love
blue check,
positive people with good energy and vibes about them because,
yo,
life
definitely
is already stressful enough and, don't need to add any more,
right.
friction or negativity. So I definitely like to vibe with
So
positive people.
matter of fact, let me double check and see where she's located. I feel like she's actually in on the East Coast. Her name is Cherie Yell or Yelly.
Okay.
She's Haitian. She has a beautiful voice. I follow her on IG. I need to get back to her. I need to let her because I translate stuff in Spanish as well. So I'm working on translating her song in Spanish. Because I was
Oh,
like, this is a good song. They will eat this up in Spanish. So I got to work on it and finish that up.
okay. That's
But
what's
she's
I
a
didn't even know you translated, songs in Spanish.
I
I know
mean,
you
I
said
do.
you sung in Spanish to that one
Yeah.
couple, but I didn't know like
No,
you
no, no.
actually yeah,
I
okay.
sing, I read, I write, I speak, I teach it a little bit. I taught it at one point when I was teaching. So
Okay.
yeah, I ain't out here pump faking.
Oh no,
I
I believe
really,
you. I just didn't know you went to that extent with your Spanish. Like you actually, yeah, that's amazing.
yeah,
That's
I'm a
really
nerd.
amazing.
I'm a nerd. So even if you need some help communicating with those
Yeah,
people, I got you. Or if you already have
yeah,
people, cool. But if you still want to learn basic stuff, got you,
yeah.
sis.
I mean,
I
because I knew
got
you
you.
was bilingual, but as far as like the music aspect
Yeah.
of it, I didn't know like you did the Spanish,
Oh yeah.
songs and
Yeah.
things like that. Okay,
Oh
cool.
yeah. Well,
That's
back
nice.
to backtrack, what actually got me started, I had joined a bilingual church when I rededicated my life back to Christ in 2005.
Okay.
I never wanted to learn Spanish ever in my life. I was like, Spanish, yuck, because if I'm assuming we're kind of like close in age, so I'm not gonna do you like that. But
Yeah.
I'm assuming we're close in age. You mentioned jagged edge. Let's get married. I'm like, okay, we're kind of close in age.
Yeah.
So, back home in Michigan, When we heard of anything dealing with like Hispanics or Latinos, it was only Mexican. So when I would
Mm-hmm.
watch TV, it was Tex-Mex. Oddly enough, I live here in Texas now, which is hilarious.
Right.
But so that's all that was being presented to me was like, you know what I'm saying, Mexican culture. Not to knock that, because I know some people that are Mexican. I got a lot of love and respect for them. But for me, it didn't resonate with me. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And I was just like, nah, I'm cool on that. And so
Yeah.
what had happened was I get out the military. I actually visited this church, and they were singing like a Israel Houghton song. I was like, in Spanish. I was like, I recognize this. I recognize the cadence. I was like, you can do that? I didn't
It
know you
like
can do
teach
that.
me. Yeah. You
Yo,
probably like, I
I
want to
got
learn. Yeah.
exactly. I was like, well, that's not what happened. I was just like, oh, you can do that? Okay, cool. And then I went on about my business. I was slowly being exposed to it. You know what I'm saying? I lived in Korea for a little bit. I had learned how to salsa dance initially in Korea. I know
Okay.
what the heck they were saying. I had dated a Mexican chick. I was like, I don't know what you're saying. I don't care. But none of that never hit me until I went to this church. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And that's how, and I left it like that. And then like a couple months later, I joined the church, and then I was like, yo, I sing. I want to be on the praise team. Okay,
Right.
Gerard. So you got to learn, at least learn how to pronounce these things, even if you don't know how to speak it, if you don't know what you're saying. But I had to, but the way it happened was we would sing the song in Spanish, like sing a verse in Spanish, sing it in
Okay.
English, sing a chorus, sing the chorus in English, right? So I
Okay.
was
Go.
like, all right, cool. And then what happened was I started learning on my own, studying on my own, trying to figure it out. There's a sister. It was a white American sister, but her husband is Guatemalan, I think. I think he's Guatemalan. I hope he
Oh,
doesn't get mad at
okay.
me. So she was like taking her time, you know what I'm saying, out of her busy schedule to teach me what she knew, and then I still had to figure it out. So one day, this
Mm-hmm.
Dominican chick, she looked just like us, so I didn't know the
Mm-hmm.
difference. She started talking to me, and I thought I understood what she was saying. No, and then she said in English, "You need to go to school." I said, "Yes, ma'am." And so I took some college courses, and I was killing the game. And then, oh, fun fact. So when I met my Spanish teacher, I looked at this woman like, I said, "What is this white lady finna teach me? This is really,
She was
I
like,
re-
okay.
yo."
Right.
But so this is what I'm thinking in my head. So if she ever sees this, Miss Jernigan, I appreciate you so much. Like that's one of my favorite teachers. She's actually my only
Okay.
teacher as far as Spanish is
It's
concerned.
always the people you least suspect that become
Look
like,
now,
that
look,
you
and
bond
she's a
with.
nice lady, and she's a believer. So
Hmm.
I just thought that was cool. She
Okay.
came in, and when I looked at her, I was like, "Nigga, nah, what is this white lady?" It was almost like going to an African American course and some white person telling you about
Just
African
teaching it,
American
of
culture.
course.
It
Yeah, you
was
just
like,
kind of looking sideways, like, hold on,
yeah.
like, how authentic is this going to be? What's
Right,
this going to be about?
exactly. That course I
Yes.
actually got out of it. I was like, man, even though I
Yeah.
learned some stuff, I was like, mm-mm. But so the first thing that came out of her mouth was, "Hello, everybody. My name is Mrs. Jernigan, and I'm Puerto Rican." I said, "No way." But I was still learning about the whole, like, far as like Latino culture in general,
Hmm.
right? And then later on, I started like diving into the Afro Caribbean, Afro Latino culture because of us, and I needed to learn and understand some things. And then that
Yes.
segued into some other stuff that we're not going to talk about right now. But
Yeah.
she taught us stuff, and I was like, and I was the type of dude. I was like, why are we saying that for? Why do I have to say it like that? And I had to explain to her. For me, it helped me remember like my conjugations and phrases and stuff
Okay.
like that. So I really wanted to get it broken down as best as possible because I'm a
Right.
nerd. I was like, when it came to culture,
It's
I'm a real
intrigued
nerd.
you. Yes, it's
Yeah,
intrigued you.
it
Yeah.
really did. It was really dope.
Hmm.
So, but anyways, yeah, that. So, let me see what time we got. Okay, we're doing good. It's 30 minutes. All right. So, um, if you don't mind, if you don't want to touch this, we don't have to. But
Okay.
in reference to marriage,
Okay.
your husband, right? You know,
Hmm.
we'll talk about it like this. Well, I'm under the impression that you're African American, right? Yes or
Yes,
no?
I am.
Okay,
Yes, I
I
am.
have to ask. You know what I'm saying? Your
Yes.
hair, whatever, and your facial features, we all look like each other. So it's kind of like at this point in time in 2021,
Yes.
you need to be really aware, and you don't want to just make assumptions. Like my
Yeah, make
wife,
assume. Yeah,
like
absolutely.
my wife is Jamaican and Belizean,
Okay.
but
Okay.
Like when my homeboys first saw her, they thought she was like a relative. I was like, nah, bro, we're not blood. That's, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
This is the chick I'm trying to pull up on. Oh, okay, cool. So that's I'm like, I feel like we need to be asking those things because at least for us being African American, it shows us that we're learning to be informed, if that
Yes.
makes sense. Because
Yeah.
we don't want to be like our counterpart citizens where we say negative things and speak all out the side of our necks
And
about
making
basically about our
assumptions.
exactly
Yeah.
about our cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Because for the most part,
Absolutely.
they don't do that with their cousins.
Absolutely. No, absolutely
They don't.
not.
You're
No.
right. They can look at the person and be like, I can tell you're Scottish or you're Irish, or I can tell
Mm-hmm.
you can just look at the person. That dude look like a regular schmegular white dude to me, but you
Right.
can tell that that person is from a different country, even though they live here. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So we should be able to do the same thing. But
Yes. I respect
um,
that.
word, and that's for me. It was like it was a learning experience
Mm-hmm.
because I would hear people say like ignorant stuff, and I would cringe on the inside, and I was like, well, I need to do something different. So when I
Mm-hmm.
was teaching. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to get into all this. I'm trying to get on the marriage part. But when I was teaching, when I walked in the room, they see this black short dude or short black dude coming in. It's like, what is he finna do? So then I'm teaching them Spanish, and then I'm teaching them the African aspect of it, and it's like, oh,
Now it
and then
makes sense.
yeah,
Now
you know
we
what I'm saying?
understand.
And then I'm
Yes.
teaching them basically like here in America, how you see all these different groups of people here in America is exactly how it looks in Latin America and the Caribbean island. You got people that look like us, you got people that look like Asian people, you got people that look like,
It's
you know what
so
I'm saying,
many shapes
Arabians.
and
Yeah,
variations and features. I definitely
right,
get it, especially like
right,
the Latina culture. Like somebody who looks completely like they could be African American, could be completely,
right.
Dominican or,
Right. So
or
here's the
Haitian.
fun fact about these things is that like if you went to the Dominican Republic right now, they would not know the difference until you open up your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
If you just said, you know, no, yo no hablo inglés, I mean, no, yo no hablo español, and that's it. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay. And if it's a certain, they're like, oh, okay. And they'll say, oh, you're American. Yeah. But they wouldn't
Yeah.
know the difference if you were in the Dominican Republic or even if you went to Panama. You
And
can
you
actually get away with it with Puerto Rico as well in certain cities in Puerto Rico.
And
They
you know
wouldn't
what's
know.
funny, Gerard? Because like my grandmother, she's Pakistani and like she's definitely like
Really?
yes, Middle Eastern. But I've had
Wow.
guys in Spanish talk to me in Spanish. I've had people talk to me Ethiopian, and it's just funny how like everything like intersects and just with different
Yeah.
features. Like you
Yeah.
truly don't know. What a person really is and what their
Yeah.
cultural background is until you I like
Absolutely.
how I respect you even asking now. Like you have
Yeah.
to ask because
Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean looking at you, you actually look Spanish, like you're
I'm black,
Spanish,
girl.
but you're black. You know what I mean?
I gotta
So
find out some more stuff about
yes,
my ancestry. I found out some
yeah.
little stuff, but I'm black.
Hmm.
No, but I didn't know that. But that's interesting. But see now it makes sense. But and we weren't even trying to get so. But what I think about in reference to us being Americans is that
Hmm.
even though we don't have a physical wall, we have this mental wall.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? As Americans in general. You know what I'm saying? We look at the news. Look at the
Hmm.
different things that transpire. We have this mental wall that we don't want, like, we have to climb over, but we're expecting people to climb over in this sense because it's like you're here and this is America and you have to learn and you have to think how we think. And it's like, but
Exactly.
bro, come on. Like, that's not how that works. Other countries really don't think like that. I understand when in Rome do what Romans do, but it's
Hmm.
like when they see us as Americans, they're like, okay, we get it. You are an American. Some people
Hmm.
may have respect for you. Some people may not have respect for you.
And that's
You know what I'm
very true. That's
Yeah.
very true.
You know what I'm
So
saying? Yeah.
I feel like with everything that's going on right now, it's part of the small mindedness, if you ask
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Like just just being small and narrow minded, and
Mm-hmm.
it weird in 2021.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
like things are different, and I'm not saying everything that's new is right,
Yeah.
but we're not new. You know what I mean? We've been here.
Mm-hmm.
We founded this country. Just as
Right.
much.
Right.
So not to give no history lesson, but I definitely
Nah.
understand where you're coming from.
No, I'm
Hmm.
here for it. So, okay, we got time. Okay, cool. So, in reference to your business and your husband, I'll just put it like this: you got some brothers that they feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? I'm under the impression that your husband don't, because I was looking at your IG and he's like, yeah, yo, at least from what I can tell, he's
He's a part
extremely.
of it.
Yeah, he's a part of it. He's supportive of it. But you
Yes.
got some people. I won't say men, because like women could do the same thing if their husband is doing something. And like it's a competition. But I don't feel as though he's competitive. He's not trying to compete with his wife. You guys complement each other, and I think that that's a really beautiful thing to see.
Thank
So
you.
yeah.
Yes. It's funny because I met my husband like 3 years ago. And just as
Wow.
you, yeah, we haven't been together like super long. We met in 2017.
Wow.
And he's a few years older than me. I think
Mm,
that plays a role too, because, I'm in my early 30s. He's in his late 30s.
got it.
And I think that's how we complement each other, because we have like the same maturity level, the same kind of like bond and understanding, how a relationship is supposed to work. And so
Mm,
we met in 2017, and just like you, we got married during the pandemic too. We
wow.
actually tied the knot in August last
Okay.
year. Yeah,
Okay.
so we're
Good.
we're still newly married, but
You guys, that's a month before us. We got
yeah,
married in
and oh,
September.
month. Okay,
Yeah.
September.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Yep.
so you already know how that was, like, just planning a wedding and then having to
Yeah.
like scale back and do. So
Right.
we still gonna have a wedding, like an actual wedding later. But yeah, we did something very small too last year.
Right. Yeah. No, my
But
wife, she
he
was like, nah. She was like, leave it like that, bro. We had like 15 to 20 people. She said, nope. And so we ended up doing something on Facebook Live and made a private page. We had
Oh,
like
okay.
300 or something people, and
Oh,
just
that
selected
sounds
those people.
beautiful.
So, but she
Yeah.
didn't want all them people at that wedding. She was like, mm-mm.
Yeah, I feel like me and him have such like kind of big. Well, his family is smaller than mine. Mine's a little
Okay.
bit bigger, but
Mm,
we didn't have that many people originally for our wedding. We had like 50 people. We could have had like 200, but we was like, no, we just want 50 of our closest family friends that care
right.
about us.
Right.
So, but yeah, we'll do that later at an anniversary day. We're gonna plan like an anniversary wedding. But
Mm,
he's very supportive. He's always been supportive since day one.
mm.
Because I've always like had like the entrepreneur like spirit, and
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be a business owner and
Mm, mm.
have that type of freedom. And he's been very supportive from like day one. He'll ask if I need help. He's been at some of my events to help me, set
Yeah.
up and
Yeah.
set up these rooms and things like that. And he knows like I'm a giver of love. Like I I feel like that's just who I am. I love to see people happy, and not even just
Wow.
in a relationship, but just happy, doing well, especially like our people. Like
Yeah. Come
I
on.
love seeing us do well, be in these like loving homes, building loving foundations,
Absolutely.
and it just does something to my spirit. Like even before I got married, like I always knew like, okay, I want to be married, and all that. But I just love to see love. I love to see households and families come together, or
Mm-hmm.
I have friends and people that I know that started their own business and they're doing really well. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it does something to me. It's almost like it makes me full in a sense, and he
Huh.
understood that, like, and I think it kind of rubbed off on him, where I mean, he's always naturally, been a very like positive and supportive person. But see
Yeah.
me in this aspect, in owning my company and the things that we do,
Mm-hmm.
he's all for it. He's like, yeah, like you're actually bringing couples together. This is a memory
Word.
that they'll be able to cherish. Like, yeah, remember back in 2020, like, yeah, we celebrated our fifth anniversary, on this romantic
Right.
night. And it's just something so memorable that, I just feel like that's what life is. Life is nothing
Mm.
but memories that just accumulate over the years. Like you just have all these memories, and I wanted to be able to give a great memory,
Yeah.
with you and your boo. So
Right. That's
yeah, so
beautiful. That's beautiful. You know
yes.
what? I don't know if you saw my face. You said something, and my eyebrows went up like, okay. So you said something really interesting, and I'm glad that you said it, Chrissy, because you said my maturity level and my husband's maturity level was at a certain point in reference to relationships and marriage. And so we tend to think that once you hit a certain age, your maturity is just maturity is maturity. Either you get it or you just don't get it, and you just be thinking toxic. So
Right.
look, but so I as a sister at a previous church I used to go to, uh, she was dealing with this dude, and I was talking to her about the dude. She was telling me about him, and out the gate, I was like, "You better leave this nigga alone." Forgive me for talking like that.
He
But
was
I'm
one
for
of
real.
those types where it was like,
Yeah.
you need to run, leave
Yo,
him.
and I'm trying to tell her, I'm like, sis, please listen to me. I'm like, cause I told her, I was like, I don't want you. I just want to let you know that now. I don't want you. I'm being your brother and trying to look out
Right.
for you as a big brother. And I was like, cause like she was an officer. Well, she's out now, but while she was in, she was an officer. He's an officer. And I was like, what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. And what I was
Right.
telling her is that you can have a. I said, there's different degrees. Even if you think of like having a regular degree, having a degree doesn't mean that you know everything. Having a degree means you only have a degree of knowledge in this
And
particular
this,
subject.
yeah.
I don't know why people. Ugh. Anyways, I don't know. Have you ever heard of Kevin Samuels? You ever heard of him, Kevin Samuels?
No.
Okay, we're never mind. Disregard that. Because
Okay.
it's this phrase where people are like, I got a PhD, but you have a PhD in this one degree. That doesn't
Yeah,
mean
that
that
doesn't
you.
make you just overall just you are just so smart and
But
wise and
sis,
common sense. Yeah, because
but sis,
yeah,
people really think like that.
yes, I know
I'm
they
like,
do.
you can have a PhD in biology, but that doesn't mean you know about money or finances. That don't mean you know anything about biblical things, religion. That
Or
doesn't mean
exactly politics, just whatever,
politics.
any whatever like that. You have a PhD degree in that specified field. And
Exactly.
yes.
So what happened was she's telling me about the dude, and basically this other sister hooked her up, and I was really hot. I don't know if this sister would ever watch this. If she watches this, I don't care because I was trying to be my sister's
A
keeper.
friend trying to be
Yeah,
a
yeah.
yeah.
And so I'm looking at the other chick like, you don't actually really know this dude. Why would you hook him up with her if you don't really know his background? He looks like a good guy. I'm like, bruh, come on.
Can't
So
go off of looks. Like you
look,
really
man,
can't go off of looks no more. Like I
sis.
mean, I'm not even saying no more. You just can't go off of looks in general. Like when it comes to dating.
Exactly. This
Like
is how I looked at it. You can be broke or you can have money and you can still be a whole entire F boy or F girl, right? Either one of those. It doesn't
yep.
matter. Your character is so what happened was, and this goes back to what you're talking about in reference to maturity. And so what happened was she's telling me about the dude, and in my spirit, real quick, no lie, I was like, this ain't it, bro.
It
You know
didn't
what I'm
feel
saying?
good.
As soon as she said like 2 or 3 sentences, I said no. In my head, I was like, sis, leave him alone. She's like, but wait, it gets. I don't even want to hear it. Leave him alone. Stop entertaining him. And
Yeah.
she wouldn't listen. I was like, what are you doing? And so, like my voice went up. I was like, what you doing? So
No, I've been there. I've been there trying to give advice and be like, look, this person is not it. Okay, boo. Like this is
right,
not the person for
right,
you. And yeah,
right,
you can already see a mile away what that person's intentions is. And
exactly.
just yeah.
So
I've
this
definitely
Crissy, this Negro, I wanted to fight the cat. I was so hot. I was like, where does he live? I'm coming for this dude. That's how I felt. You know what I'm saying?
well,
Because like I have like this. I'm the same way with my blood sister
you're
and my cousins.
protective. You sounds
Yeah,
like you're a
I'm
protector.
like, where
Yeah.
is this? Because he's about to catch these hands. I was hot. So basically, I was trying to tell her, I said, sis, just because he's an officer does not, or has money or has this degree, because in order for you to be an officer in the military, that means that you have to have a degree already. That does not mean, just because you have a degree in education or you're mature with your money, does that mean that you're mature when it comes to relationships?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
You are singing to the choir. I've been
Sis,
there. I've been in a
this
bad
my
relationship
bag.
like that. Yeah.
Okay, look,
Yeah.
I got songs talking about it. So you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay. So, and I was trying to tell her that, and I was like, sis, you need to stop entertaining this dude. So basically, make a long story short, like my man was, and I had a feeling that he was still stuck on some other chick, but had her in the wings in case nothing worked out.
So,
And so
and
when
it fell through. He had her in the back pocket. Yeah.
right. And I told her, and she was just like, well, I was like, but I already felt that. I was like, he's entertaining somebody else still. I can feel when somebody's in it. I can feel
And
it.
you're a man too. Like I feel like men can kind of same with women. We can kind of
Yeah.
pick up like on a woman. I feel like men are very good
Well,
judge of characters with other men and
let's
things
put it
like
like
that.
this. Let's put it like this. Because there's this. Okay, go ahead, sis. So there's this thing where we grew up hearing that women, you have women's intuition as if we as men were like machines were soulless. But if we're as believers, we're understanding that we are spirit first, and then in our spirit, we're, you know what I'm saying, as far as our spirit is concerned, we're placed in this shell. But so
Mm-hmm.
we're just as sensitive as women are. It's just that we as men, we're being told to, from a soul
Like y'all
perspective.
don't display it as much. Y'all don't put
Exactly.
it. It's not external with y'all. Like it's internal.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So
But our
yeah.
eyes will say something, our body language will say something, but usually in
Mm-hmm.
some cases we blow up, we're angry, that's when we show our emotions. It's like, nah,
Yeah.
bro, like you're a human being. Jesus wept, doggone it. Jesus beat up people.
He was
You know what I'm
the
saying?
God Almighty. Yes.
Look, man. I
Yes.
mean, like this sounds jacked up, but one of the prophets was made fun of for being called a baldy, and like he just commanded these bears to eat these kids alive. That really happened in the Bible, like for real. I think it was either
And I know a lot of Bibles. I've never heard of that.
bruh, sis, look, check.
But okay, I
It
need to
was either
do it.
Elijah or Elisha, but the kids made fun of him and called him baldy. I was like, why would you do that, bro?
They
And
was
called
going in back.
bears.
The people don't understand the Bible is like today. It was just a different era of time, but they was going in doing some of the same things we were doing. And I mean, what this society is doing in 2021. So, but it's
Look,
very true. Like even my father, like
hmm
a lot of times, like you think like, oh, these are parents, your parents just being a parent.
yeah,
But I can honestly say with the guys that I've dated, my father already knew what they were about before I, got serious with them. So I
and that's
definitely
good.
believe in that men know other men, or they can kind of discern a man's,
Exactly.
intentions and things like that. Because everything he would say, he would be spot on. Once I learned the lesson or got out that relationship, my dad
hmm
was spot on from that gate and was like, I told he wouldn't say I told you so, but I was trying to warn you and let you
Look,
know like
I'm
this
looking
guy
at you like,
wasn't.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
told you so. That's petty. I know it's petty. I'll just be like, look, man, I don't know. And I'm sarcastic. Like, I guess I don't know what I'm talking about, bro. I guess you just had to learn the hard way, huh? Well,
Yeah.
because with me, like, I had to learn the hard way. And so that was one of my biggest things in reference to like why I'm doing the stuff that I'm doing, why I wrote the book, why I made my music and still making music, why I'm doing
That's
these podcasts
amazing.
is because
Yeah.
I went through so much hell with my ex-wife and then with my other exes that
Hmm.
it was just I was like, bro, I don't want nobody to go through this. You know what I'm saying? That
Right.
sucks. Like who wants
Yes.
that? You know what I'm
I can
saying?
imagine. I mean, I've
Yeah.
never been divorced, but I know it's not easy. I hope I don't ever have to like
Mhm.
go down that path. But
You guys are good.
and
I
then
can
you
see
were young too, like being young and trying to figure yourself out, and she probably was
that
young as
part.
well, and
That part.
and having to like find yourself, but then like be there for one another. I'm sure that was a struggle because I know at
Yeah.
19, I'm not the same person I was at 19. My maturity level is completely
You see
different.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
And even then, as a kid, I understood some things about marriage, but I still didn't get everything. So, and then the other thing was that yeah, I'm gonna put it like this: is it took my last relationship for everything to really click in reference to why I was uh attracting certain women. I couldn't
Okay.
understand why.
Hmm.
I'm actually a really good dude. What did I do to like? Cause I
Yes.
felt like whatever I did wrong, I felt like I paid for it. But I was like, okay, this is getting out of hand now. I'm dealing with some toxic chicks. Why is
Yes.
this happening? And I
Yes.
couldn't understand what was going on with me. And it was literally like for real. It's hilarious to me because my homeboy he had told me something. He was like, your ex girlfriend feels some type of way about you moving on. I was like, well, she goofy anyway. She could have learned and could have grew with me. That's her fault. All right, who
Yeah.
cares? But that last relationship, it made me really sick. I was already doing some self-examining. I had already wrote my book and all that good stuff, but I was still dealing with toxicity. And I was like, what am I doing?
You had to
And
self
so
reflect.
yeah, I
Yeah.
really had to self-reflect.
Hmm.
I thought I had did enough of it, but it wasn't. I didn't go
You
further
had
back
to
like
you
it
had to
had.
separate from her so you can actually be alone,
Yeah,
be still, talk to God, and
yeah.
really see what is it about me
But
that.
watch this. Yeah, but watch this. What was weird? This is when I was like, okay, I'm about to get to the bottom of this thing. Soon as we broke up, couple chicks didn't even I didn't even post that I broke it up with anybody. A couple chicks popped up, hey, how you doing? I'm like, and one chick was my homegirl sister, and I know about her, and she ain't healthy at all. And I was like, well, God, I was like, well, hold on. She don't even know that I'm single now. Why is she? Because even my homegirl, she was like, hey, are you talking to my sister? Nah. Her sister's pretty, but I was like, nah. And she's like,
Right.
oh, well, such and such, da 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 da. And I was like, nah. I said, okay, God, something is awry here. And so for me, and I think this actually affects everybody,
Mm-hmm.
is that it actually is our in my camera tripping. There we go. And so it was my childhood.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it wasn't. So here's the thing:
Yes.
it wasn't just my dad not being there, but because you have another parent that's there as well. So you can
Right.
say, oh, well, my mom or my dad or whoever wasn't there, but somebody is raising you, and certain things are being instilled in you, certain things are being projected onto you. You're still dealing with a
Yes.
whole adult as a child. So let's
Yes.
not be dismissive of that. And so that's what happened, and I didn't realize what is going on with my camera. Give me a sec. There we go. So I didn't realize that I was dealing with well, my love language is words of affirmation. That's my primary language. My
Okay.
secondary language is actually quality time, right?
Okay.
And so my
That
wife
goes
is
hands
like,
in hand. That
yeah.
seems.
And so my
Mm-hmm.
wife is like the flip. Hers is quality time, and then it's words of affirmation. So I'm like, I try to figure that out. So we try to make it work. But
Yes. But at
so
least they're
there
the
was,
same thing though. Like that
well,
it
yeah,
be reversed, but at least it's like the same because like me and my husband, I feel like not to get off sidetrack, ours is
yeah, yeah.
like completely different. So
Mm.
but we make it work. We he knows mine,
Well,
I
that's
know
all it's
his. But
about.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
all it's about is making it
Yeah.
work, and it goes back
Yeah.
to service. So what happened was, you know, not to throw shade at my mom, like it happened. Hold on, something happened to my audio. What happened to my audio? Oh Lord, see this is that stuff. This
And
is
what it
that.
gone down, it just cut off.
Yeah, like I can see my audio. I don't know what happened. Maybe it blipped out on there. And
Mm.
hey, bro, let me know something right now. My audio should be good now. I don't know what just transpired. All right,
Can you
but
hear me
yeah,
now
I can
or
hear you.
okay.
So I don't know. Maybe it was. I know I'm going to edit this in a podcast because that happened. So that's fine. Like
Okay.
in an actual audio, I'm gonna
Okay.
edit that. But it was, you know what I'm saying. Don't get me wrong. Like people get hurt, this, that, this, and the third. But when you're projecting that energy to your children, you don't know what type of effect. Like words. You know what I'm saying? They say life and you know what I'm saying, life and death are in the power of the tongue. So you have to be
Mhm.
mindful of what you're saying to your child. And
Absolutely.
so don't get me wrong, I was a
'Cause
whole
you can carry that
knucklehead.
in your spirit, and even subconsciously, it might not be on the forefront of your mind. You might not be
Exactly.
consciously carrying this, but it could be subconsciously shown through your behavior that you're still carrying this, or this still affects you. So,
Right.
and it's funny because I feel like the 20s is the decade or the years of facing that childhood kind of like trauma.
Yes.
And then 30s is
Yes.
like you know what you've been through, you've learned, you've
Mm-hmm.
grown. That ideally, because some people don't grow and learn. We know
Look
that.
now. Come on, Chrissy. Come on.
But generally, I feel like that's how it works. Like your 20s, you learn, you make your mistakes, you face your childhood traumas and the things that you've gone through, your toxic relationship. Because I was in a very toxic relationship in my
Mm,
20s.
mm.
And but yeah, like you grow from that, you self-reflect, you got your relationship with God,
Exactly.
and you, like you said, you can't even at this point, you can't even just blame the people that you were dating. You have to look
No.
and be like, look, why are these people like me? Like, why am I
Exactly.
entertaining these type of people?
Right. Right.
And yeah, it
Um.
started to become clear.
There's this guy. He's over in Cali. Torre. Pastor Torre. He's married to Sarah Jakes, TD Jakes' daughter.
Okay.
Toy Roberts. And he
Oh,
said,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
now that dude is dope. He said you can have chemistry through broken people. So both of you guys are broken and you're attracting each other because it's almost like a familiar spirit. I'm gonna try and get into that, but it's almost like a
You were right.
familiarity team.
Yep.
And when the dude said it in the video, somebody in the video said, "What?" like they got their own epiphany. It's like, oh, it ain't got nothing about how I look. It's my people. I mean, people that are in New Ageism, they say it's my energy. I'm putting off bad energy. Let me use this stage.
Yeah.
Like, nah, bro, you need deliverance. Get some Jesus and stop playing
Yeah.
with God. So, hold on.
Just being able to relate, just being able to relate like that. Yeah, it's like being able to relate.
Ah. I'm sorry. I just got tickled real quick.
Yeah.
I'm
But no, like
sorry.
I get it. Like just being able
Yeah.
to relate, in trauma, like y'all can cry on each other, and this is what I've been through, this is what you've been through, and
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that's like the right recipe to like let's be together. You
We
know
could be
what I
friends
mean?
with
Like,
those people. And that's what
yes.
I learned, like with the different chicks. There was one chick I dated. We dated for like a year and a half, and we broke up. And she said some stuff, and I was like, "Why were you even with me for, bro?" And I was like, "I said, you know what? We did better being friends." You know what I'm saying? I said we could
Absolutely.
have just been friends the whole time and would have figured out stuff. And she was like,
Yes.
"Nah." And even then I was like, "Well, that's weird." You know what I'm saying? I was like, "You don't think we could have just been friends? Like, look how you broke up with me. You could have been my friend the whole entire time because I wasn't
Yeah.
checking for you. I wasn't checking for you at all. Your sister
Right.
hooked me up with you.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't even thinking about you. I'm trying to figure out my own life." And I'm like, we just could have been friends.
Yeah.
And so that's when I got to a point where I was like, man, bro, I'm finna just chill for a minute and really examine myself. And it actually, my homegirl, I never pulled up on her, and praise God that I never did. You know what I'm saying? Because I literally look at her like a sister, and so
Okay.
we would like for real, like
Yes.
never pulled up, never ever 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 pulled up, right? Never even
Okay.
shot my shot. And vice versa, right? She never
Right.
pulled up. And so, but we would talk and we would just, it was, Drew, I think about this and what about that? And da 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 da. And I did the same thing with her. And so, it took me to examine myself. I had to confront some things. I had to talk to my mom. My mom felt some type of way. I was like, look, mom, I love you, but I don't care. I'm about to confront this for my own healing. You figure out life with what I tell you. You
Yeah.
figure it out. But I gotta
Hmm.
like release this stuff. I can pray, I can forgive, I can this, but you are still alive and breathing. I'm gonna discuss it with you. And I didn't realize that that was something that my ex-wife did with me. She's like, well, why did you do this? I'm like, bro, we already talked about this. But for her, she needed to discuss it in order to get this is how should I say this? This is a healthy type of a closure. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying?
Got
Because
you.
some people they
Hmm.
want closure in a sense where it's like it's not healthy or they want to be intimate with that person to have closure. And nah, this is a healthy form of closure. Some people don't get it because the person passed on. So then you got to
Hmm.
get closure a different type of way.
Right.
Or you may not be able to get closure because you understand that the conversation is just not going to be healthy. So you got to
Hmm.
figure it out. But praise God that me and my mother have a healthier relationship to where I can
Hmm.
discuss some things now. She's still a certain way, whatever. She's set in her ways. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
Like
fine.
a lot of parents are older. Yeah.
Come on now, Chrissy.
That's
So
generally,
yeah,
yeah.
so it's just like, all right, mom, but you feel some type of way. You figure out what you're gonna do with the information that I gave you. I need to talk about this. You can tell me how you feel. All I'm gonna do is apologize. That literally happened the other day. I said something to her. She said, well, you did this. I did. I don't remember. I'm so sorry though.
Sorry,
It
right.
just went on
That's
by
how
my
it is with
business.
parents,
I'm like,
yes.
I'm sorry. Okay, mom, I'm
Uh,
sorry. My bad. I
yes.
didn't know. I don't remember. But I'm gonna apologize anyways
Because
because
it
that's
hurts your
the
feelings and I care
right.
about you, your
Right. And that
feelings.
made you
Yeah.
feel and you know. So I was
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry. So, but it took that and I was like, I said, okay, God. And so, some another this other chick popped up. I was in like long
You seem
look,
like you went through it.
no, but I'm
You've
like
been through.
this other chick was actually cool, but I just knew she wasn't it. And God told me, he said, if basically she lived in Florida and she
Okay.
was like, yo, because I had my moments where I was in like long distance sister. I was so mad at save women because I was dating a chick in the church and she cheated on me and I started looking at women in the church sideways. I was like, y'all think the same way women in the world think. I might as well date somebody that's not saved. And I found myself literally dating, watch this. Um, basically a Chinese Peruvian Buddhist chick in Peru because I speak
Okay.
Spanish. So
Okay.
now here's the kicker. She was actually a nice person. Nice person. We just had different belief systems, and then when it came to rearing children that and raising our children a certain way, it was going to be a clash in belief systems, and I was like, this ain't gonna work.
Right.
But she was cool.
Right.
She was cool. She was a sweetheart. She wasn't gonna cheat. She wasn't gonna this. It was outside of that. She was
That's why
cool.
you can't judge like a book by because
Look,
and that's why I had to learn like being in church, like 'cause I grew up in a very like traditional like black church,
mm-hmm.
so it was definitely saved folks and worldly folks. But as I got older, I've learned like some
Boy,
worldly folks is cool and nice and even
yeah,
nicer and will help you out more
Yeah.
than potentially save people. You know
Come
what I'm
on
saying?
now.
So I've
Boy.
had to learn that like you really can't judge a
Yeah.
book by its cover, you
Right.
know, and I don't
Right.
even believe in the whole term. Like, I mean, I believe that, you know, when you're saved, you know, you profess with your tongue and you
Yeah.
know your sins and you have your relationship with God. I believe
Right.
that, but I don't even try to get into like the divisive of saved and
Oh,
worldly,
pause
kind of
real
like
quick.
what
Pause real
I've gone
quick. Pause
into.
real quick. I see it now. Like your face. You was talking about your mother is from your grandmother is from what you said,
Oh,
Pakistan?
Pakistan. Yeah, she's
I can
Pakistani.
see it. Like I'm
Yeah.
looking at you now, and I'm like looking. I'm like, oh, I
Okay.
really see it now. Like,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
I'm sorry. It just took me a second. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I definitely see it. It's just
Yeah,
like
but
in
I'm
those
definitely
films.
black.
No. I get
I
you, but
rep black.
but I
Yes.
can see it. I was like, oh,
Yes.
okay, cool. I see it now. It just took it
Yeah.
took a hot couple minutes. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
But no, just basically how you say you met that lady in Peru and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And she was real cool, and y'all had two total different belief systems. But
yeah.
like, people are cool from all walks of life, like for
Right,
real. Like my
right.
husband, he grew up in church, but he wasn't as like I feel like I slept in the church. Like I was a church kid.
Oh, don't get me
He
started.
he went to church and grew up, but it wasn't the same. And I don't know how to
Right.
describe that, put that in
Mhm.
words, but yeah, but we are together and have a loving relationship, and but we have two like church backgrounds, like,
Yeah,
but you
yeah.
can't really judge, you know,
Right.
nobody off of that.
And I
So
and I think
that makes
that
sense to me.
yeah, I think that when we think of church, we think of like the outward thing. Because even in church, we're not looking at what scripture was saying in reference to character, which segue, which goes back, it correlates to this topic about catering, about serving one another. I mean, even
Yes.
Jesus said, love your neighbor as you would love yourself, your closest neighbor. Because remember, the
Mm-hmm.
Pharisees said, well, who's my neighbor? It's like, dude, the dude next to you, dog. Like, what you mean?
Yes. Your
But you're
brother, your and you know, your
exactly
community.
your
Yeah.
community. But I would
Hmm.
say that, and I've said this before, your closest neighbor is actually like your significant other.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? If
Yes.
it's
I
not your
believe
significant other,
that.
if you got kids, it's kids. If you ain't got kids, it's your best friend, it's your coworker. But for the most part, in terms of relationship, romantic relationship, it's literally your significant other because they should be able to know you better than anybody else would know you. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And so,
Yes.
but yeah. So
And
it
that's
took some
true. You
stuff.
gotta cater. I mean, you have to cater to them just like they cater. And that's not even like physically, that's emotionally,
Hmm.
spiritually. Like, you know, we all have emotional needs, you
Yeah,
know, and
absolutely.
spiritual needs. And, you know, your significant other can't cater to every little thing because, you know, you need to cater yourself and, you
Hmm.
know, do things for yourself and,
Right.
you know, teach and seek out guidance and stuff. So they can't be the answer and be all to everything in your life, every
Right.
facet to your life.
Come on.
But
Because now
you know,
you're making an idol out of that person. So
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't idolize my husband. Like I still, you know, I have to have God in my life. He's the
Right.
number one. He's the covering over our marriage. But then I also have to like, you know, be able to convict myself and, you know, be able to self-reflect and, you
Yeah.
know, see
Yeah.
how I can treat him better and how he can treat
Woo!
me better and vice versa.
You preaching
So
now. You preaching. No, okay.
yeah.
So I wanted to get into this. I didn't. I'm not going to even finish that other story because basically the dude with my homegirl that was in the military, she finally got it and left the dude alone. He was trying to do some crazy stuff, and I was like, "Negro, I told you so. Why didn't you listen?" But you said something really interesting, and I think you know I'll say it like this because I don't want to come off like I'm male bash. I mean I'm female bashing. I don't want to say it like that because men do the same thing. But you said I did this on another episode about accountability.
Yes.
You know, I wasn't trying to get into this, but it plays a part in how do you serve somebody correctly if you're willing to serve. I did when I was in Clubhouse, I was in this room, and I said this thing, and I said you have to be willing to serve somebody else. We have to be willing to serve one another, and
Hmm.
people flip they lid.
Really?
What? No,
It's so common
nah.
sense to me.
Nah, I ain't doing that. I'm like, that's because you was serving the wrong person. That ain't nobody else's fault but yours because you made the choice to serve this
Yeah.
dude or serve this chick and you knew better. But if you had
Yep.
somebody that knew how to treat you right,
Yep.
okay. So you said I had to examine myself and
Hmm.
self-reflect and say, okay, how can I serve my spouse? Especially when you know that your husband is doing his best to serve you correctly. So, I'm
Exactly.
gonna ask you this question. have you heard of this term? That's what I was asking you about Kevin Samuels, but other people have mentioned this term before. Have you ever heard this term called a high value man?
Yes, I have. And that seems like to be the hot commodity words of these times right now. This high value
Mm,
men and women.
Crissy,
Yes, I
Crissy,
have.
Crissy, Crissy,
Yes.
Crissy, Crissy. Let me put it on here. Crissy, Crissy, Crissy. I'm Crystal, Miss Crystal, Mrs. Crystal.
This is
Now,
a crystal moment.
look, because I'm saying because I don't know how many of your homegirls think this way. So I'm not bashing, okay? I'm not bashing. But you said something, and I was like, we need to like we as men and women in general need to understand why do we want the thing we want. But if we want this particular thing, what are you willing to do to maintain that certain thing? Okay, we'll put it like this. Just about everybody wants a car, right? But if you need a car, not not like not just to get the car. To get the car, you gotta have money. Some people gift you with a car, so okay, that doesn't really count. But usually, you gotta have money. You gotta have some type of down payment. You gotta have a job. You gotta have requirements to even get to get
The
the car,
car. Yeah.
right? Right. But then when you get the car, what are the general requirements for the car?
The maintenance. You have to
Come
care for
on.
the car, the
And
maintenance.
come on now,
Yes.
sis.
Yes.
Come on now,
Yes.
sis. And
Yes.
so, you know, this is the best, safest way to say it. This is the safest way to say it. People, I said this like 6 years ago. I said there are requirements for certain people that you want or desire, right?
That is
And
so
the thing
true.
is,
Yes.
and some people think, well, I'm just settling for this. It's like, nah, you just probably couldn't meet the requirements of the thing that you wanted, but you
And so
think that
you got this is over.
yeah,
Yep.
you think you're
Absolutely.
settling, but you're really at your, you know how the scripture says, this may be a reach, this may be out of context, but it says some people have 30-fold, 60-fold, and 100-fold.
Hmm.
You're at 30-fold. That's all you're gonna get. And you ain't even trying to
Yes.
really work towards 60 or 100. So just work with what you got and serve
Hmm.
on that level, and God is still gonna bless you. Because you don't know what's gonna
Absolutely.
happen. But people,
Absolutely.
I'm 30-fold, but I want 100-fold. And it's like, are you willing to do the different
Put a
things to serve?
hundredfold effort. Yeah, because
Right.
your
No.
effort has to meet what you want.
Come on,
So
Crissy. You got it,
yeah,
sis. And so
yeah.
that's what we're hearing. And I said that before. There's a sister that I had liked in church, right? I was like, oh man, she's a singer and she's cute and she this. And I was like, man, I'm about to pull up. And my homeboy said, nah, bruh. they told me no. They
Hey,
they
yeah.
said leave her alone. And I had to go and examine. And then they told me different stories about her afterwards. I was like, oh, I said, well, I'm this type of dude. I'm a good dude. I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, but no, but what they were saying without saying is that she wants this type of dude and you don't
You're not
meet
meeting that
you're not
that
meeting that
criteria.
required. You don't
Okay.
meet that. And
Yeah.
and for me, I understood that. Most of us men, basically, they rejected me. She rejected me, but on their behalf, and she didn't even realize it. They was looking out
Right.
for me. They was like, "Nah,
Right.
bro, leave this chick alone." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I was like, I didn't feel no type of way. But what happened? What the weird? This is the irony of it all. God told me to give this chick a word, and I did not want to do it. I didn't want to do it. I was like, well, she ain't gonna listen to me because I'm not this. I don't have a title of whoever, so she's not gonna listen to me. But I knew what God told me to do, and I said, sis, basically in a nutshell, I said, you fit the requirements of somebody else, but you don't real. But in a nutshell, that's what I told her. I said, you have this particular career. You went to this school. You have these gifts and these talents. You think all that stuff was just for your sake? No, it plays a benefit in how you're going to serve your husband. And I said, but you're
That
wanting
is so
this.
true.
I said, but you're wanting this type of dude when God actually has somebody for you, and you think God's going to bless you with a booger wolf. But that's not true. I
Yeah.
wrote that in my book before. I said, God's not going to bless you with some ugly. I don't know why we think like that, but God is
Yeah.
not going to. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants this 10, but you not even 10 quality, not just in looks, but not even in your character and career.
Yeah.
Yes,
Your more values
but
and everything.
you're still blessed.
Hmm.
You're still blessed to be a blessing. And
Mhm.
but I feel like in some roundabout way, it deals with some type of narcissism here, just across the world. I don't know why I
Mhm.
got into that, but essentially, are we willing to meet these criteria? And then the other thing is this: even if you may meet those criteria for that person, that does not mean that you're supposed to have that person. Because here's the other thing is that the enemy can pick up on what you want and give you exactly what you want, but that's not what you need for your calling and your purpose.
Exactly.
Sis,
Absolutely.
it didn't
Yes,
happen to me.
absolutely.
It, it
Mhm.
it literally, when I say literally, it literally happened.
Mhm.
I'm so corny. I wrote a song years ago with my corny self, with my homeboy. The song was called Mrs. Right. I literally said, this is the type of chick I want. Literally described her in the song. Years later, I get the chick that I want.
And it wasn't what you needed at
it,
all.
at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
But I understand. I was like,
Mhm.
the enemy, especially when you vocalize it, because he can't read our minds, but especially when you vocalize it, he's like, oh, that's what you want? Oh, yeah, I can hook that up for you. And God is like, bruh, what are you doing? And so,
Right.
and so my mindset
I
was,
get it.
I can, the general criteria is like, oh, she's like this. I understand that culture. Okay, I'm like this. It can work. But I didn't know for her individually that I didn't even meet what she wanted because she had a whole soul tie with somebody else. So I wasn't going to even meet the requirements of what she desired because of
Anyway,
that
from the beginning,
from the
yeah.
beginning. So even
Mhm.
though other people was like, the dude that she was messing with, he was married, by the way. So that was already an issue. You know what I'm saying? And so she had a
Wow.
kid and all
Yeah.
this other stuff. And you know what I'm saying? Now, the interesting part was that the bishop was trying to hook us up because she was single. But I was like, all right, cool. We were already dating at this point. Stuff transpired, and I was like, oh man. I was like, oh man. So hindsight is 2020. And I was like, that was literally not what I really thought that was it. But I'm like, it didn't even. But here's the killer part: she didn't even actually. She met my soulish criteria,
Okay.
as far as like the
Okay.
physical aspects. She. I wanted a chick from this particular island. I wanted her like this. I wanted her to be a believer. I'm being for real. These are the
So
things
this was like your list, like of
yeah,
everything was
I
okay.
really, I know that sounds weird, but for men to
Yeah.
talk about that, but nah, sis, I really had like a mental list, and then later
Right.
on, I ended up like revamping my list after all that transpired. I was like, let me revamp this list, and I had a 5-page thing of what I
Oh
required,
wow.
but then
Okay, you was very specific.
but at the end of the day, I had to go back. And there's a podcast discussing this. We've been over here over an hour, so I'm gonna try to end this. So, but what happened was, one of my sisters, an older sister, she's like a big sister to me. She said, "You're more concerned about making a list of what you require. Why don't you make a list of what you won't tolerate? Make a list of the
Hmm.
things you tolerated and the things that you won't tolerate anymore." And so,
That's a
what
good,
messed me
yeah.
up was that, Crissy, I tolerated so much stuff,
Hmm.
and it didn't transpire until I didn't like finally make to listen till actually I broke up with this other chick what in 2018. I
Okay.
sat down and wrote my list of the things I was tolerating and not tolerating or what I won't tolerate anymore. And I said, God, I was like, shoot. It didn't matter who it was. I was still tolerating things. And I was like, dude, you a simp. You need Jesus.
You gotta get it
You
together.
need to get it
Yeah. You
together. You know
gotta.
what I'm saying? In the words of India Irie, get it together. Like for
Yes, that's
real.
for real. Like, yeah, when
Yeah.
you sit back and reflect, it's like it wasn't just them, because you would like to put the blame on them, but it was
Yeah.
what you allowed, and
Exactly.
the same people you kind of dealing with, and you got to get past. Like for me in my 20s, it was the physical. Like the
Mm-hmm.
physical don't mean a whole lot. It's it's here and your beliefs, and
Right.
like you said, do unto your neighbor how you would like to be treated. So it's like,
Exactly.
how is he
Exactly.
treating me? Is
Mm-hmm.
he is
Mm-hmm.
he treating me with grace and kindness and stuff? So all of that plays a big factor for sure.
Exactly. Exactly. Sis, this is
Hmm.
good. This is good. We can keep talking, but I know I'm gonna do some work editing this thing. So, but
Yes,
Crissy, I enjoyed this conversation with you.
I did too,
Um,
Gerard. I
I
definitely enjoyed it.
I would definitely like to have you on again. Maybe one day, I'll get a panel together of all the different people that I spoke with before because
Okay.
I try to get people where we're like minded. I don't try to get no goofy people. You know, I'm for real.
What's
Like
a goofy people? What's goofy people?
I said goofy people.
Oh, goofy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like that's trying to,
Like
yeah,
they
that
be saying
that's
no.
don't
They
have
be
no
just
common sense.
yeah, they be
You
saying some
know,
sideways stuff. It was like, nah,
yeah,
but not. But even I mean, some people they can have quote unquote common sense, but it's like their mindset is just like it's toxic. I don't deal
yeah.
with that because
Mm-hmm.
my mindset. I understand you want to have people that are argumentative. I have a different aspect, but I'm like, I got some solid people with different aspects. You know what I'm saying? Different perspectives, but they're not goofy. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? And then they have tact.
yeah.
So we know how to communicate with each other. And so
And
the
there's a
thing is,
respect thing because you can have a different opinion from me, but it's always about the respect and just being
exactly.
open minded. Don't
Exactly. And even
Mm-hmm.
if we disagree, we agree to disagree, and
Yep.
then we leave it like that. I don't like. I'm for real. Like I try to, especially
You
with
ain't
these
trying to be
podcasts.
arguing on your podcast.
There was a brother on
Yeah,
here. He said something to me sideways in the middle of the podcast. I said, I'm about to end this now. I really did.
yeah,
I said, I'm gonna
yeah,
stop it now. I deleted the video. Nobody, people seen it, but they can't even find it because I got rid of it. I said, I
yeah.
won't. I said, I won't do it. And I love the brother, but I said, bruh, I said, we're talking about this, and you're trying to like come at me sideways, like, why are you talking about this? Like, bro, you could have sent me a message and
Right,
said, why are you discussing this? Don't in the middle of us talking, just why are you talking about this? You just talk about that. Okay, I'll never reach out to you again.
right. Yeah.
And it's sad to say, that's what happened. I love this dude.
And
I'll never
sometimes
reach out to you again.
sometimes you have to cut people off like that. Like if
Yeah,
it's not the
yeah,
right energy, you still love
yeah,
them, care about them,
yeah,
wish them well, but
yeah. Right.
you
I love
can't.
him. I respect
Yep.
him, but not again.
Yeah.
And I
I
hate
get.
that because I looked at him in a certain light. I still have a certain amount of respect for him, and I was thinking, I was like, oh, okay, surely we'll have a healthy dialogue. And when he did that, I was like, oh no, Negro, okay, we good. And
Right.
I was trying to keep my, cause
Your
even,
composure and stuff.
yeah, cause I
Yeah.
was like, hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, you know what? Okay, bro, and when we text, I said, hey, bro, I appreciate that, this, and the third. He's like, oh, we should do this. I'm like, well, I already do that. We should do a podcast. We should have this. Now, I already have that, but I can show you how to create your own. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? So I'm still trying to do something to like, hey, you want to have your own platform? Create your own. I can show you how. But you ain't ever getting on my
You can
little bitty
still help. You
platform.
can.
You
Right.
ain't
I'm still
ever getting
gonna
on
help
it.
you, but not on my platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, and I talked to some people about it because they reached out to me. And I was like, it's a small platform. It's small. Like, I'm being for real. I'm not this big dude. I just like to talk about certain things. And then sometimes I segue into other things because that's where my heart is at. Because at the end of the day, even the things that I talk about over there still goes into relationships. It may not
Yeah.
be on a romantic perspective. It may be political relationships. It may be
Mhm.
religious relationships. It may be just politics and social stuff.
It's just a variety of things, but that's good.
Right.
It's like a dynamic, it's inclusive of all aspects of a
Exactly.
relationship. I like it. I like it.
Exactly.
I like,
And even
yeah,
those
because it's
things can
more than
affect.
just the romance in a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
But even
definitely
those
is.
things can affect a romantic relationship. Check this out.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Crissy, there was this dude I know, and he was married to this chick. To my understanding, maybe other things transpired, but this, from what I was being told, this chick literally divorced this dude because he was not a pastor, Crissy.
A pastor.
Because he wasn't a pastor. She divorced him like, well, you should be at this level and you should be like this. The dude wasn't cheating. From what I was being told, he didn't cheat. He didn't respect her. He was a minister, but he didn't have the title of a pastor. Wasn't really seeking to get that. But dude was a good dude, a really saved, sanctified brother, and she still left him. And I when I was teaching, I saw the dynamic shift with his daughter. I saw it.
You
She
knew something was
shifted.
going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it shifted. I saw it, and I would
Uh-huh.
just look at her, and I never talked to her about it. But I saw she was a certain way, and then when I heard about the divorce, and I saw
Divorce
her
happened.
again,
She changed. Like
she
then you could
shifted.
tell it was a different. She had a different demeanor. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
you got to touch on all that stuff when it comes to
look, man,
relationships. You have
look,
to, because yeah,
look,
it does. It affects everything, and that just sounds very toxic in itself. Like
yeah,
I think
yeah,
is if that's why you need to communicate because
exactly.
communication is key. Because she could have potentially found out like that was never been his,
Right.
endeavor to become a pastor.
He could have
Like
been an
but
entrepreneur and just owned a six-figure, all multi-billion business, but you more
mhm,
concerned about how it looks to
to
people.
people.
You see,
to be
but
presented like, oh, this is my husband, the pastor. This is, title.
right.
People get very hung up on titles. Like
But
I
that
can
even
definitely,
that even that
yeah,
ties into the high value man. But from a religious perspective, if I were to say it like that, you know what I'm
yes,
saying? He does this, and it's like, but do you know the requirements that to be a first lady or to be the wife of a pastor? You do you know that some of these chicks want your own husband?
yes.
Like I wrote a song about that. Like I was like, bro, like you better be careful
But you know
because
what, Gerard? Some people really get caught up in this like facade. Like she probably wasn't thinking all of that. It's
nah,
just the
she
facade of, oh,
clearly wasn't.
he the pastor, I'm the first lady.
Look,
But they don't understand the
look.
details and the work that goes into it. So,
Sis, before my bishop died, Pastor Val, I can say this publicly because she talked about it publicly. Her name is
mhm,
Pastor Val, and so she was talking about how before my bishop became a bishop, he was just the pastor, right? And
mhm.
so she was talking about how this chick was like trying to pull up on her husband, and they from Philly, so they both hood. She say sanctified, but she hood. I love her to death. Oh, I love that woman to death because she hood. I told her that to her on the phone. I was like, man, Pastor Val, you so hood. I said, you a thug. And she said, what? I ain't no thug. I was like, no, I didn't mean it like that. Cause her mindset of thug is like, you out here killing people. I was like, no, 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 no. I'm like, you're blunt, you're straightforward. She has tact. I was like, but you don't deal with no foolishness. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
And I got a lot of respect for her. But she was
Right.
like, hey, yo, like, but the chick came back and was like, you know what? She had to apologize to Pastor Val. I was like, man, I was trying to pull up on your husband, and I'm sorry. Pastor Val was like, oh, you weren't gonna get him no way, bro.
That's how you gotta carry it sometimes. Sometimes you have to carry it like that. And I'm a firm
Yeah,
believer in you gotta be direct and blunt, and
look, man.
you gotta hold on to what's yours, and
Look,
you work
exactly.
hard.
But
Yeah.
it's
So
real out here. I mean, we've heard the story with Ty Tribbett a few years ago with him and his infidelity with his wife. We heard the
yes,
stuff
yeah.
with Dietrich Haddon and how apparently Isaac Krieg. I was like, dang, Isaac for real, bro. So you know what I'm saying? But they
I
talked
was
about it
very
public,
surprised.
bro.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, don't you have your own wife? These are the things that I think about. I'm like, I know your wife look good. I'm pretty sure she does. So, but then the other thing is, when you think about stuff like that, it's like, well, what's going on in the marriage that you have to actually step outside of the marriage?
Yeah.
I'm not condoning that, but I'm like, something was missing.
Of
You know what I'm
course.
saying?
Of
So, or
course.
something, either something was, it could be something was missing in reference to the spouse, or something was missing in reference to you not being healed. And it didn't matter how well your wife or husband served
Husband
you,
treated you. Yep. Catered to you.
you wasn't healed, and so
Yep.
you still was looking for some outside stimuli to
Yep.
fix this pain versus letting Jesus fix it. I mean, just being for real or getting some therapy.
Yeah.
God can use unsaved people to get you healed. Like I don't
And
understand
you
why
and
people
you
don't get
know
that.
what? Like that goes back to what we were speaking earlier with,
Mm,
facing childhood trauma. Like some people really never get to that point of facing
yes,
childhood
ma'am.
trauma or things that they or looking at patterns within their childhood that they've carried into their adulthood.
Right.
And so sometimes it resonate. It sounds like with us, like me, it was in my early 20s, same with you.
Yeah.
And so some people get it sooner than later, but then some people get
Don't
married
get
at
it at
30 and
all.
40 and they still haven't faced that or really reflected within themselves to, you know what, I can't be of service to you because I need to service myself first. I
Mm,
haven't faced this. So I know people who were in that boat, like it came way later in life,
yeah.
40s,
Yeah.
50s, where
Right.
it's like it resonated like, oh, it wasn't my husband or my wife, issue. It was actually me. And
Yeah.
I'm the cause of, the
Right.
division between us and why we're no longer together. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it takes you, I hate to say it, but sometimes it takes a divorce or something of that magnitude to really like step back and be like, you know what? It wasn't just her or him, it was me,
Exactly,
so
exactly, exactly.
yeah.
And it's and I'm gonna end it like this. It was sad. My homeboy, he operates in the prophetic. I think I could talk to you about that, right? We cool on that? Can we discuss?
Oh yeah, we've been talking
Okay.
about everything. Yeah.
He
Like we've
said
been talking
you
about
been talking
everything
about
else.
everything else.
Yeah.
So he said it was an ex-girlfriend. I'll put it like that because if I say a specific person, somebody else might watch it and be like, "Oh, you talking about so and so." But he said this particular ex, and then I'm saying this for a reason because I'm gonna say something right after that. He said, this particular ex feels some type of way about you getting married and moving on with your life, right? and he knew what happened with her and I. And so he said that she feels like you made a mistake and you this. He said, and I said, man, she's delusional. And he said, if she doesn't take time to examine herself, she's gonna be miserable. She's gonna stay miserable. So even if she gets somebody or whatever,
You gonna carry that.
she's gonna carry that energy. And so what
Mm-hmm.
happened was my wife and I were talking about this particular ex, and she said, Gerard, what if you see your ex with somebody else? And what I instantly said was, I hope she treats him right.
That's good.
That's
That's
literally what came out of my mouth. I said, I
that's
hope she
really
treats him better
good.
than she treated
Yeah.
me. I hope she learned from that, because otherwise my man gonna dip out too. Because she broke up with me, and I had already mentally checked out
Okay.
because I saw what was up. And when she said we need a break, I said, "Oh, we ain't getting back together ever again."
That
I
was your
had,
chance, huh, Drew?
but Chrissy, but now this is the wild part though, Chrissy. Twice this happened. God said this to me, and then people said something to confirm it, and I was still mad about it. God said, if I take her away, he said, if I strip her from you, are you going to still serve me? Are you going to still be okay with that? And I said, God, I kid you not. I cannot make this up. Heard it twice. I said, God, I said, I have no other choice but to still be in a relationship with you. He said, okay.
Hmm. Okay.
And then what happened was, I went to Kentucky to do some work for music. I went and visited an old church not the bilingual church. It was a different church when I moved to a different
Okay.
city. And so the pastor there, they're prophetic. And so she didn't even know I was dating the chick. She said, Gerard, don't worry about, you know what I'm saying, a relationship. I'm paraphrasing here. She said, God already has your wife picked out for you. You good on that. Don't worry
And
about
that
these
was your
women.
confirmation right
Mm-mm.
there.
But I was hot. I said, don't she know I'm in a relationship already? So, and for me, I was supposed to already broke up with this chick.
Okay.
Now here's the weird part. I knew her since no, not to say the year. Never mind. But I knew her for, I knew her for
'Cause that's
X
gonna be
amount
a
of,
giveaway.
yeah.
Yeah.
I knew her for a little over 5 years. I'll say that. That's safe. Knew her for a little over 5 years. We were actually friends, right? And so I was like, well, bro, what happened to you? You weren't even like this when you weren't saved. So why are you
Hmm.
like this being saved? And she's like, well, I was worse. I was like, oh, boy. So that's what
Yeah.
made me examine myself. But then again, I came back to Texas. I was doing some work, and I don't know what was transpiring, but God said it again. He said, Gerard, if I strip her away from you, are you still going to be in a relationship with me? And I said, yeah, I have no choice.
Yeah.
He said, okay.
That's good.
And then later on, like a few months later, a sister that we don't communicate anymore, but she reached out to me randomly, and she was ministering to me and just helping me. It was almost like tilling the ground a little bit so God can do the rest of the work. And
Hmm.
that happens. Some people, they're just they're seasonally there.
Right. And that's okay.
And that,
Yeah.
but what the wild part is that she actually prophesied about my wife. She says, your
Oh.
wife is, now that's weird because most people that are prophetic or are prophets or prophetess won't touch that. It's just really, they won't touch it because you could be wrong or you could be off, or the person that's prophetic may be in their soulish realm, and they could be touching on your soul versus the spirit realm. That does happen. So some people don't
Okay.
touch it, but she was really confident. It was like, no, your wife is going to look like this. I said, okay. And I actually had a dream about my wife, right?
Oh,
And
okay.
so I'll say it like this. Because I was like, well, God, she don't look like this. And I was like, oh, it's colorism. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? And I got it. Because, you know what I'm saying? Because it could have been me as well, dealing with colorism.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
in the dream, the wife looked a certain way, but my wife don't look nothing like her.
In the
But
dream
the character was the same.
was the same. Yeah. I
Like
get it.
the mother-in-law was a certain way, the father-in-law was a certain way. I saw different images in the scene where I went and saw my brother-in-law's in-laws house, and I was like, I seen that area in my dream, and I didn't even know these people. That dream happened like 2015. So I'm like,
Wow.
okay. So I'm like, okay,
Wow.
God. So then the sister, she prophesied, and she was like, Gerard, God has your wife for you already. I'm like, don't she know that I'm in a relationship?
You still mad?
I'm still mad. So, but when the chick like basically was being goofy, and I actually got mad, like you could feel it on me. I was hot because she did something sideways, and so what my big sister in the faith was saying, she was like she's dealing with fight or flight because there was some stuff going on. She felt when I was with her, she felt like she wasn't good enough, or I was making her feel like she wasn't good enough because I didn't put her on some pedestal. I was like, but I like you. You're dope, but I'm asking you questions because I'm trying to understand you. I was like, well, what is your best asset? She said, my butt. I said, nigga, no way. You know? I said, no,
Wow.
for real. But I mean, don't get me wrong. My wife is, she blessed, blessed, blessed. Hey, hey, hey.
Right.
I'll speak in tongues now, but she
Right.
blessed.
Big,
But
big
my wife has some substance. And
Yes.
so if that's the first thing out your mouth, and I really said, when she said that, I said, really? And she said, oh,
Yeah.
well, I have this. I was like, no, you already told me
That's your biggest
that's your biggest asset is
your ass.
yeah,
But
yeah. It's like that's what it is. And so I was
yeah.
just like, okay, man. And I was like, I said, really? And she's like, well, you made me feel some type of way. Da, 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 da. And so when the last discussion that we really had, I was like, as much as you wanted to figure out why I liked you and you wanted me to talk to this other person and tell them why I like you, I don't even know why you like me, bro. Because everything I talked about, you argue with me about da 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 da. Why you like me? Oh, I like you because you do this, you that, you this, you that, you da da da. I'm like, these are the things that you combat me about.
Hmm.
And I said that, and I was like, I said that's not healthy.
It's not. It's absolutely
So she
not.
was like, well, you making us look bad because I physically, like, I didn't get hot, like, oh, I don't know what's going on. And you know what I'm saying? I didn't do anything like that, but I was hot. But you know how you hot and you
You
doing your best,
upset.
but you trying to keep your composure? I was
Yes.
that type of hot. And so she was
Okay.
like, well, you making us look bad because people know da-da-da-da, because it's kind of like people are in our business. I was like, but you clearly did something goofy that I know you ain't never done before. And people are like, yeah, he hot. You making us look bad. We need a break. Oh, are we
Wow.
done? I said, "Oh, we done." And but that was for me because essentially I wasn't sad to say because of the things that I didn't heal from. I was gonna try to hold on. Oh, if I love her correctly and I keep
Yeah.
serving her right, then
Trying to make it work.
surely she'll come along. You know, she too hurt to appreciate a good dude. I'm
Hmm.
sad to say, but I messed up in continuously entertaining it, knowing that I should have been broke over with her. I had her, but sis, she got attacked by a demon while I was asleep. She got we were in two separate beds at a hotel, and
Wow.
so I went to sleep. We had a discussion. I don't know how we got into this, but we had this discussion, and she was talking about my best friend. He's a photographer, dope photographer. So she's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, shout him out on my wall and let people know about his business. I say, hold up, you got a whole boyfriend that does graphic design, that does
That's
music,
all
that
it
has a
is. But you're
book.
gonna promote him.
I'm like,
Yeah.
no offense. I was like, this Negro don't even know you. You don't even know him. But I said, you got a whole boyfriend. And what she said was, what you doing ain't got nothing to do with me. She verbatim. Bruh.
That's cold.
But
That's
oh, it's cold blooded, right?
yeah.
And so I looked at her, and I'm gonna be transparent with you. Oh, God forgive me, but this is the thought I had. Get the F out of my face. This was like in my head. I really said it in my head. Like
Oh
I said,
yeah, I could have had a few. Somebody said that to me. Like that's a lot. That's a
look.
lot to
In my
digest.
head, I looked at her. You know how you look at somebody in disgust, sis? I looked at her in utter disgust. Like, get out of my face.
Yeah.
And she said, "You looking at me like you don't want me around." I lied. I was, God forgive me. I was like, "Nah, man, it's
Everybody was like,
yeah."
"What you think?" Like, come on.
I was like, "Nah,
That's what
man,
you just
you all
said.
good." So
Yeah.
I had talked to my he's actually a pastor under the bishop, and I reached out to him later on, and I was talking to him about, oh no, backtrack. So I go to sleep. I had like some peaceful rest, and so she wakes up. And what was weird, she woke up a certain way and her body moved a certain way that was scarily reminiscent of my ex-wife. I was like, oh, I've seen this before. She woke up, I was like, oh. And so she was like, she said, Gerard. I was like, yo, what's up? Because I was sleeping peacefully. I don't
You
really
was
get
good.
rest
You
like
was
that.
good, huh?
I was gone. I was like gone. And that bed was so peaceful. I was like, whoa. So I wake up. She's like, Gerard, I just got attacked by a demon. And I was like, and I looked at her and I was
Oh
like,
my
I was like,
gosh.
"Are you okay?" She's like, I was crying out to you and I was crying to you and trying to get your attention because she was basically like, you know how people get stuck, She had one of those
She couldn't
episodes.
move. I've experienced something
She
like that.
couldn't.
Yeah, she could move and get your attention.
It sucked. So I understand that. She said, but you know, I managed to pray and this, and that. But you didn't do anything. I said, well, we can pray right now. Well, no, that's okay. I said, well, you know what's funny? I said, I said something jacked up. I said, well, you never want to pray with me anyways.
Dang.
So I was like, what do you want me to do? Like when I said, do you want to pray together? Do you want to read the word together? Nah, I don't want to do that. And there's a point where when I felt like we needed to pray, yeah. I'm the one praying. I'm not even asking you to utter 2 words. Just shut up. And I'll pray for us. And I remember I felt this animosity. I said, why do I feel all this animosity over the phone? It was like I felt anguish like towards me. And I was like, why? You forced me to do something I didn't want to do. I said, bro, you never prayed at all. It was me. I was in tears, sis. I'm a crybaby in real life. And I was just like, for real, I was just like, bro, because I'm sensitive too. Like, not just sensitive, but I'm sensitive to the spirit too. So I'm just like, but I was like, we need this. We need, as much as you say you want God to be in the center of this relationship, he's not.
You didn't feel it. You didn't feel like he was.
And she know that. And so all these different things happen. So then when I'm moving on, I'm like, yo. I'm like, look, man. And like even people that weren't saved, I have a sister, she uses crystals and all this good stuff. I love her to death though. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole different dialogue for something else in reference to spiritual stuff. So, but all I know is that even though you're connected to different things, you're still a spirit at first. You're still a spirit first. And she could pick up off me. She said, Gerard, your light is so dim. When I'm with this chick, Crissy.
Even she picked up on it.
She picked up on it. She said, Gerard, where's your light at? It's so dim. As soon as she broke up with me, she slowly saw me transition back to the regular schmegular Gerard that I was when she first met me. She said, hey.
Okay. And that's how you know. That's how it was in my last relationship. I got back, I found myself again. It's like you rediscover yourself and you truly are who you are.
Look now. Look now. That's a word. That's a word. That's a word, sis. And so that's what happened. All this stuff transpired. And I was like, but basically in reference to what my best friend said to the ex-girlfriend, he said, she's going to be miserable until she examines herself. And I said, God, she's delusional. Because he's like, oh, she thinks that you're the one that made a mistake for moving on. Because she reached out to me like a couple of times to try to get back in. And I was like, nope, left on red. I said what I needed to say, left on red. No, for real. She was like, oh, hey, do you do graphic design? I said, ain't you the same person that said that what I do ain't got nothing to do with you? I said, yeah, I do. I can't help you. Good luck. Left on red. So
sometimes you gotta carry it like that.
Look.
Sometimes you do.
Look, Shorty knew what was up, Crissy. And I'm gonna let you go. She said, are you saying that because you don't want to make no money or you just don't want to talk to me? Left on red, blocked. Left on. Look, man.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you gotta block it. Sometimes you gotta just let it go because you start to understand you can't fix somebody. Like they gotta want to fix and reflect on themselves. So I've learned I'm not here to fix you. I only can give you an advice and try to help you. But if you shun me away, if you act like you can't receive that, whatever, you can't hear what
don't get me started. We're gonna be on here longer, girl.
I know. Yeah, well, I gotta go in a second.
Yeah. So Crissy, thank you so much. I appreciate this extra dialogue with me.
But I would love to do it again. I really would. I would love to, have more dialogue. I know today I have like a room I gotta do in about 2 hours. Okay, but cool. Somebody got to prepare for it, but I would love to do this again. Like this was fun, and it was just good to like get to know you a little bit better and talk love and relationships. So we definitely, if you got time, or how you were discussing about the panel situation or whatever, like I would love to be a part of that because I love stuff like this. Like I'm an up and coming relationship coach, so this is like my field. I love to talk everything that we're talking, the different aspects of a relationship and healing and spouse and things like that. So please think of me. And I was even thinking because I was planning to have like a room on Clubhouse, discussing.
Oh yeah, you already know.
And I would love to have you on their mind because we seem like we're on the same page and stuff. So I will send you like a separate, like message, like detailing everything. But I would love to like have you on there as a
I'm here
moderator.
for
We
it.
can
I'm
discuss
here.
things like that with people. So I just love your vibe, Gerard. Like I really
Word.
do. You seem like you have
Likewise, sis.
a lot of wisdom and knowledge about in your own personal experience because it takes experience to understand and how to,
Mm-hmm.
become more wiser in your newfound relationship and just even who
Yeah,
you are as you get older. And I can see that like
absolutely.
you've matured
Man,
from
look.
from
So, sis,
yeah.
let the people know where they can find you at, where they can find your business at, and
Yes.
we're gonna go ahead and close this service, close this meeting.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I look forward hopefully to an invitation to do this again. But
Oh, definitely, definitely.
yes, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. My company is Dream Party Events, and events has a Z on the end, so not
Okay.
an S but a Z. So Dream Party Events, and that's on Facebook, Instagram. Like I said, if you ever need a romantic room set up, or if you know someone who needs a nice romantic room set up to ride, or they want to set it up themselves and they live in Seattle somewhere, we definitely
Mm.
have our romance boxes here.
Oh, go ahead,
We
girl.
ready to go. And so
Right.
I mean, we have everything, like everything you need, like
Mm-hmm.
any
Mm-hmm.
love occasion, intimate occasion, even if it's just because I want to appreciate my husband or my wife
Right.
or my boyfriend,
Right.
girlfriend, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Dream Party Events is where you can find us. We
Yeah.
are romance planners, and we are in the business of bringing loved ones together and celebrating love and
Good.
creating those cherishable moments for couples. Yep.
Bet, bet. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All
No,
right,
thank you,
guys.
Gerard.
Yes,
Thank
man.
you a
Nah, girl,
lot.
you
I
good. This was
appreciate it.
dope. I love this, man. Yeah,
Yes.
we're gonna definitely do this again. So, hey guys, thank you for checking out this podcast. This is supposed to be a different podcast. This is episode 49, Cater to You, featuring Crissy. Be sure to follow her on IG if you have Clubhouse. I don't know which is it. Is it Crissy Cakes on Clubhouse or is it Crissy?
Oh, yeah, it's Crissy Cakes, or you can find it by Crystal McKinley.
Okay,
You'll be able to find me Crystal McKinley or Crissy Cakes. That's my ad on there too. So
okay,
either or,
okay,
you
good.
should be able to look me up that way.
Okay, great, great, great. So good, guys. Guys, check it out. I think you guys were rocking with us. For those who were watching, those who are going to be listening to the podcast later on, thank you so much. And peace
Yes,
and God
thank
bless.
you. Thank you, Gerard, for having me. I really, really appreciate it.
I'm
And I
excited.
look forward to future discussions like this in the